What is happening, everybody? Joseph coming your way, Sir Joseph coming your way. And as I promised a while back, before I was announcing that I was leaving YouTube for Twitch TV, as well as making my own podcasts and stuff on Podbean, I was going to record a final kind of series on my YouTube channel, and that is Final Fantasy IX, my Weapon Man run. Now, I have done a similar thing to Weapon Man before on this channel with Final Fantasy IX. I did what I called a no magic run, where I couldn't use any magic spells. Here's what the difference is going to be between Magic Man, or no magic, and Weapon Man. So, in my no magic run, that I did about 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, I'm guessing maybe 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that. It was the PS1 version, and I used my camera to record it, so it must have been at least 5 years ago. In that run, I wasn't able to use spells. I banned myself from using spells, and I was able to use skills. So, if a player had something that they could use that was a skill, I allowed myself to use it. But I couldn't use any magic. In Weapon Man, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna use any ability that has any MP tied to it. So even if it's a skill and not a magic spell, I'm gonna ban myself from using it. So that's what Weapon Man's gonna be. This is already in progress. I'm kind of 2 hours into the game. I cleared the opening act, which is pretty much nothing more than walking around Alexandria and a whole bunch of dialogue. You do the sword fight mini game, and in the PC version, it's way easier to do that, to get to impress all the nobles and get the Moonstone, which I believe I did in my save file. What else did I do? Jump rope thing. I don't think I got the Cactuar card. You can play a little jump rope mini game with Vivi when you're Vivi walking around Alexandria. You can do that if you do 50 repetitions, you get a Cactuar card, which is really good. I don't believe I did that, but I might have also. What else? That's pretty much it. And also, different from the no magic challenge, I will be grinding on screen. I'll be doing level grinding on screen. I'm also going to give myself level caps for certain bosses. This way I'm not power leveling, because power leveling is kind of like, if you're going to do something like Weapon Man, then why even, and you're going to power level, then why even do it? So I am going to gain a couple levels here, do a little bit of level grinding. This will not take long. I want Zidane to be at level probably 6 before taking on this next boss here. So yeah, we got Wires. I mean, he's easy. Take him out with Steiner. Now, if I'm playing casually, I want to steal Zidane, because Zidane has an ability called Thievery, where it gets stronger with more enemies you steal from. I'm still able to use Flee and other stuff like that, as long as a skill does not have any MP. So I can't use anything that utilizes MP. I can't use anything that utilizes MP in Weapon Man. So yeah, that's going to be the main difference. And then, of course, another main difference is that I'm going to be grinding on screen. And grinding can be boring to watch, so I will put a timestamp saying when I'm finished my grinding. This way you don't have to sit and watch through it all. This grinding session will probably take me about 5 or so minutes. Probably even shorter than that. Really depends on how these enemies behave and how my players handle them. I like how you get to see these enemies shake their behind as you hit them. It's It's like, here's my ass. Whoa. I think that hit point switching attack is, really Zidane. Attacks the difference between current hit points and maximum hit points that those enemies do. I don't know for sure. Well, Garnet just gained a level. That's cool. See, I would usually use the cure spell to heal, but yeah, I'm disallowing that for myself. Leveling here is pretty easy and pretty convenient, pretty good grinding spot, because when you run into those gusts of wind, you'll get into an enemy encounter. So it's a good way to level players if you are not sure if you can defeat certain bosses. And in Weapon Man, that's definitely going to be an issue, because I won't be able to use what the game wants me to use, which is magic. The game pretty much forces you to use magic in the early goings of this game. So in the late game, weapons and physical attacks are valued a little bit more, and then at the very end of the game, it behooves you to use special abilities. Stuff like Zidane's Thievery, where the more enemies you've stolen from, the more powerful it's gonna be. So yeah, that's definitely a reward, but not necessary to finish the game for sure. But it just makes the game 1 ounce easier. I do want to keep my players healthy. I do want all these players to level, because believe it or not, even in Weapon Man, my magic users are going to have a role. Mostly they'll be healers, like Vivi will definitely be using nothing but potions. Same with Garnet / Dagger. She gets renamed Dagger. I'm probably gonna put in her real name, because her real name is way better than Dagger. So yeah. But even they will have their purpose in Weapon Man. Especially Vivi, because Vivi, in the early goings of the game, will be able to get a decent weapon, a pretty mid-level staff, that can do a decent amount of damage. We'll do a decent amount of damage to enemies. So, I do want that. I'm going to be spending a lot of money on potions. I am going to be doing the infamous cotton robe trick, where you use wrists and steepled hats to create cotton robes, and then you can sell those cotton robes for a profit. I will be doing that, and we'll be doing that a lot in this game, because I will need lots of money for potions. I'm probably going to have everyone except Steiner defend here, because Steiner is the only player who can really take these enemies down in one shot. Boom. And yeah, I decided to do my grinding on screen. This way I can prove to the audience that I am using nothing but physical attacks and items, because it's really easy for me to, it would be very easy for me to cheat and use magic to level growth, which that's, to me, that's, you know, that's, it's a, what's it called? It's an honor thing, you know what I mean? Scout's honor. You know? Oh, good hit. Very nice. But I do admit it is quite boring to watch me do this. So if you want, feel free to skip ahead to me actually playing the damn game, which will happen soon enough. A few more minutes, a few more fights, we should be good. Level grinding is also pretty useful in this game because of the abilities, especially the passive ones, that you have the opportunity to learn. A lot of passive abilities. You run into a lot of passive abilities, especially in the mid-game, and it can be very overwhelming to have all these passive abilities and not have the AP to learn them permanently. So, if you're playing this for the first time casually, whether it's the PC or the PSX version makes no difference. They're both equal. They're both of equal difficulty. I would definitely take the time and AP grind, and do that just by fighting usually multiple enemy packs will yield 2 AP. Sometimes that may not be the case, especially in the early goings of the game, but definitely in the mid to late game, you can easily rack up APs. Yeah, see, I beat 2 enemies, so I got 2 APs. So, and then you have passive abilities called Ability Up, which will double the AP that you earn if you have an item or if you have a piece of equipment that teaches the same ability. You will also get double AP for that one ability that you have. So that's very useful as well. So, some tips there on how to AP grind your players. This way they learn their abilities that they want them to learn. Good shot, Steiner. Very good. Very good. I just want Zidane to gain one more level here, and then we'll be okay. And then we'll see. Then I'll have to save, and then I'll take on the boss and see if I can take him out without using any abilities. What made my no magic run of this game so easy when I played it in, I believe, late 2013 on this channel, before I called myself Jolson, that was way back when, was that I was still able to use Zidane's dying abilities when he trances. The dying abilities that Zidane uses when he trances do a lot of damage, a lot of non-elemental damage, so I have to worry about that kind of stuff. And they were just really easy to execute. You could spam them, and you'd be able to just kill anything in front of you. And in this upcoming boss fight, that is also kind of forced upon you unless you have leveled accordingly. So, yeah. So that's going to be very challenging for me to not be able to use. The fact that I can't use a lot of the abilities that you have access to in Tranced. So I'll have to just only take advantage of Zidane's slightly enhanced attack power when he trances. And it's the same with other players too. Some players, the trance will greatly augment attack power. You see that with Steiner. I think you also see that with another player that you get way later in the game, or at least from what I've experienced in me playing this game, is that the other fighting player, when he trances, he gains a decent amount of attack power, but it's most visible in Steiner. When Steiner trances, his physical attacks can pretty much one-shot anything, and in the mid-game, it's very easy for him to just produce a 9999 attack while tranced, even with mid-range, mid-game weapons. So, yeah. With the other players, they just get a little bit more defense, a little bit more attack power, which is pretty good, but it's not as useful as it would be if I was able to use magic and skills that use MP. For example, when VV trances, he gets double black magic. Won't be able to use that in weaponry. Alright, so Zidane's at level 6. So let me go ahead and save and take on the boss here. I'm going to be kind of spoiling a lot of the plot of this game just because it's been out for 19 years, and you know, if you don't know the plot and stuff of this game, then I don't know what kind of rock you've been living under. I won't spoil a whole bunch of stuff, but I'll definitely spoil. I'll like put reveals as spoilers, but not the details around the reveals, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we're at level 6 here. We're saved, very good. And this is usually where you should be in terms of levels, in my opinion. Let me do this too. Okay, never mind. Alright. So, yeah, okay. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Let's see if I can take out this boss without using Zidane's dimes stuff. See what happens. If I speed through the text, I'm sorry if I do. But, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, whoa. I like how it's like completely frozen. It's like not even breathing. Ooh! Down goes Steiner. Oh, now Garnet's out too. Uh-oh. Who could be behind all this? Now Zidane's passing out. Zidane, Zidane, whatever you want to call him, Zidane. I used to call him Zidane. Alright, let's see what happens. Now going into this boss, you do need to learn how to heal yourself in response to attacks. This boss fight does kind of teach you that as well. Ah, Black Waltz. Seems like he is. And now we fight the first Black Waltz of the game. And he will also summon a buddy. There it is. If you're playing casually, definitely steal, because you get good stuff when you steal from bosses in this game. Stealing from bosses in this game is always recommended, because when you steal from bosses in this game, you will get items and weapons, or you'll get weapons and armor that you would not have access to for like another couple towns. So it's really it's pretty useful to do so. This may be a long fight, because in fact it's definitely a difficult fight, because I'm gonna need to heal. Say when my hit points get down below 800, and the Black Waltz has a good amount of hit points. The Sea Lion has a ton of hit points. I think like 700 or 600. So yeah. And the Sea Lion can also do some pretty powerful attacks that can do a lot of damage. So. And again, I can't use Dine stuff when I'm tranced, so it's going to be even more difficult. Like here, I'm going to need to heal. Alright. So the Waltz is dead. You need to kill the Waltz before the Sea Lion, or else if you hit the Sea Lion, he'll just get healed by the Black Waltz. So I'm waiting for the Sea Lion to do, I think a tsunami type attack. Once he does that, I'm gonna have to heal. So I need to wait for him to act before I act. Okay, he used Blizzard 1. So let me see what that does. Alright, now I'm gonna hit him. And you can tell how weak he is based on that little gem he has on his, like under his neck, under the sea lion's neck. The more red it gets, the more damaged he is, the more, and the higher his propensity to do high damaging attacks. So right now he's just gonna hit me with his wing. He's gonna use Blizzard and stuff like that. So I'm not really worried about it. See, it turned yellow now. So now he's gonna use a little bit more powerful stuff. Gozara. Yeah. Does a little bit more damage. And he'll go twice. Then he gets pretty aggressive here. So I need to keep my hit points above 150. That's the goal. If I can keep my hit points above 150 and get an attack in whenever he uses a weak attack, we should be okay. Like he just hit me with wing there, so I want to hit him real quick. Good. Wait for his next attack, then heal. Okay. Good. Now he's gonna start using his strongest attacks because that gem is red. He used Tsunami. I need to heal after that. No matter what, I have to heal. Blizzard, now I'm gonna be tranced probably. Nope, not yet. There we go, good. This is where I'd want to use a really powerful Dyne attack, but I can't because I'm doing weapon damage. So, I'm gonna have to hit him and hope. As long as tranced, I get a few attacks where I get a few turns where my attacks are gonna be a little bit better, and I beat him anyways. Excellent. Good. That worked out pretty well. Just took a little longer than usual, but we're good. And I learned everything attached to the Mage Masher. Very nice. And that is Black Waltz number 1. And the Blizzard's gone too. And there's Zorn and Thorn. Those are the court mages that have been hired by the Queen of Alexandria to get the princess back to Alexandria. It's Princess Garnet. And Garnet does not want to go back to Alexandria. She wanted to go to Lindblum to tell the regent of Lindblum that the Queen of Alexandria is up to no good. And Steiner is the retainer to Garnet. It's her royal guard of sorts, kind of. So there we go, and that is the ice cavern. You can still fight enemies here if you want. But what I'm gonna probably do is see how good I do against certain enemies. I'm also not gonna do any ATBs, active time or ATEs, active time events. These are things that you can do where when you're exploring a town or something like that, you can press select and you can see what other people are doing, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to view those because I want to get through this pretty quickly. And yeah, we're above the mist. Awesome. Ah. And yeah, Garnet's very sheltered and hasn't done much traveling, and Zidane is way different than that. Yeah, we got this pretty awkward conversation where Zidane explains weapons to Garnet, and Garnet's like, "Oh my God, this is a dagger. This looks really cool." And then she wants to call herself Dagger. We're not going to call her Dagger at all because Dagger's a really silly name. We're going to name her what her real name actually is. And if you get far enough in the game, it is revealed that Garnet's real name is Sarah, and her mother is Jane. It's a throwback to what's it called? Final Fantasy 1. So yeah. So I just spoiled that. I'm not gonna tell you how to get that. I'll do that when when I need to, or if I want to. Whatever. I might do the side stuff, I might not do the side stuff, but whatever. We'll see. But either way, that's all you need to know is that Dagger's real name is Sarah. Or Princess Garnet's real name is Sarah. That's her actual name. And it's way better than Dagger. There's no way I was gonna call her Dagger. Yuck. Okay, what I'm going to do here is a little technique that speedrunners do called stutter stepping. When you're on the world map, there is random encounters are triggered by what's called a threat level. So, the more you walk on the world map, the higher this threat level becomes, and the more likely it is that you'll be getting into an enemy encounter. You can micromanage this by stutter stepping like this. It keeps the threat level low. And in the PC version, they have also reduced this threat level to where doesn't get nearly as high. Well, I just botched it right there, but whatever. That's the theory behind it. The practice is different. That's why I don't speedrun this game. I don't know how. Here you fight a carved spider and a python. These enemies are actually pretty easy for our levels. I do want to fight them because I do want to gain some more levels. I'd like to be at level 8 before I finish up this next segment of the game. This is how stutter stepping works, though. The forest encounters. You can encounter 2 types of friendly monsters in the forests in this game. The first of these is a ragtime mouse. The ragtime mouse will quiz you based on certain things you come across in the game, and if you don't come across them, you won't know the answer to the ragtime mouse, the questions of the ragtime mouse, and you'll get it wrong. If you get all of your questions, I think you get, there's like 20, I believe, ragtime mouse encounters in the game. And I forget like how it actually works because I never really cared about finishing up the ragtime mouse side quest. But if you answer all the questions and you get a certain percentage score, that determines what kind of item you get from the ragtime mouse after you've answered the final question. I think if you get anything above, I think 85 or 75%. So if you get at least 15 questions out of the 20 right, you get a protection ring, but that's all the way in the end of the game. They only let you encounter so many ragtime mouse questions during each act of the game, or each disc. The PC version uses acts instead of discs, pretty much. So this is the first act, is what I'm going to say. The other enemy you can encounter is a friendly monster, and these are specific to regions. If I were to encounter an enemy in this forest right next to me, I will have the chance of encountering a friendly moo. And with these friendly monsters, you need to give them a certain item. And I do not have it with me, which is very, very strange. I would normally have it. But you get things called ore, and you feed these friendly monsters ore, and they will give you a lot of AP. I'm going to save all of that for at least the third act. By the third act of the game, you have the entire roster of players that you can control. And like the last 2 that you recruit are in desperate need of of AP because they don't have any passive abilities at all. And you've had 6 or so players who you've trained in abilities and who have learned lots of good abilities. So I'm going to save that all for later. So yeah. In fact, I'm going to stop playing right here because what I want to do is off screen I want to see how far I can get with my current levels. I may not be able to, or I may not need to gain levels, but we're going to find out. I also want to see how this video came out. That's important to me. I may actually go back to this later on, but we will see. I haven't really recorded gameplay stuff like this in a while either, so I'm going to stop right here, and if I am up to it, I'll probably do another video. If not, then I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah. Okay, so this has been Joseph telling you to stay strong, keep being awesome. Take care of yourself.